For over 60 years, the Glenn Jones name has been recognized for integrity and honesty.
And the Jones Auto Center's in Wickenburg.
Jones Ford Verde Valley.
Take a nice country drive out to Buckeye.
When you're talking about Arizona's best, you're talking about the Jones Auto Group. It's quick, fast, strong.
I want to invite you to visit our new facility in Casa Grande and enjoy our country-style way of doing business. We're the Joneses.
For over 60 years, the Glenn Jones name has been recognized for integrity and honesty.
And the Jones Auto Center's in Wickenburg.
Jones Ford Verde Valley.
Take a nice country drive out to Buckeye.
When you're talking about Arizona's best, you're talking about the Jones Auto Group. It's quick, fast, strong.
I want to invite you to visit our new facility in Casa Grande and enjoy our country-style way of doing business. We're the Joneses.
For over 60 years, the Glenn Jones name has been recognized for integrity and honesty.
And the Jones Auto Center's in Wickenburg.
Jones Ford Verde Valley.
Take a nice country drive out to Buckeye.
When you're talking about Arizona's best, you're talking about the Jones Auto Group. It's quick, fast, strong.
I want to invite you to visit our new facility in Casa Grande and enjoy our country-style way of doing business. We're the Joneses.
Hi everyone, and welcome inside Rack Scottsdale for the SunDevilSource Podcast presented by Jones Auto Centers. We are, of course, very excited to welcome our first live guest into the SunDevilSource Podcast, Head Coach Kenny Dillingham. Kenny, thank you so much for joining us. How has the bye week been so far for you?
It's been good. You know, it's been busy early in this process, but we'll start diving into Utah a little bit, but mainly worried about us trying to score in the red zone.
Well, with that win 27-24 over that number 24, TCU, you guys are back into the top 25. We know that's kind of no matter for you and your team, but we'll get into that a little bit later, an assessment of your season so far, and then we have a raffle winner coming at the end of our episode today as well. So yeah, we'll just get right into it. Chris, if you want to fire away.
Okay, thanks for doing this. Appreciate it. Really kind of wanted to go back to your origin story at ASU. And I know you had the injury in high school. You were playing for Charlie Ragle at Chaparral, hurt your knee. That led to you becoming a coach. And I'm just curious how you think that shaped your experience and who you have become since then.
Yeah, I definitely think it helped me because I learned how to manage people without respect. You know, you learn how to garner respect. You learn how to find yourself because people don't want to listen to the 18-year-old. Right, so you got to learn, okay, how do I get these guys to listen to me? How do I get these parents to respect me? And what I learned was knowledge. If you learn and can add value to people, they're going to listen to you. So I really doubled down on, well, I got to become smart enough that people understand that and they want to listen to me. So I really worked hard to just try to become knowledgeable enough to get people to want to listen.
And then you're a coordinator. All coordinators want to become head coaches. You had an opportunity to potentially work at ASU under Herm Edwards, and Zach Hill ended up becoming the offensive coordinator. I'm just curious what you thought about that at the time, and then how you reflect on that now.
Yeah, well, I was the offense coordinator at Auburn, and got a call, and Arizona State wanted to interview me. I was out here recruiting, crazy enough, and went and interviewed, and I thought I did a good job, but not good enough. And then I was like, guys, I got to know because I'm going to go to Florida State if I don't get this job to go back with Mike Norvell. And I wasn't the guy at the right time, so went back to Florida State, but it's kind of crazy I could have been here.
What, at the time, do you remember what you thought about that? And like how like that then sort of shaped the rest of your journey to now?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't happy. Like, this is the job. I would have loved to be the offense coordinator here. I would still love that. Like, I love calling plays. I mean, I don't think it's the best thing for our football team, but I still love that aspect of the game, especially home. But wasn't in the cards, and it worked out for the best in the long haul. But I definitely felt like I could have helped the football team score.
And this process orientation, you're very obviously a process-oriented guy. You said on a couple occasions, game day for me is just seeing it all kind of come together. Practice is where I really get to give my input. How effective is that with college-age kids, and how much do you think that mindset kind of contributed to the largest single-season turnaround in program history last year?
Yeah, I think the process of work works, will always work. I think if you think that you can shortcut how to become successful, I think you're going to fail. And so I think the mindset of you're not good enough yet and you're constantly getting better, I think that's what you have to be. Like the moment you think you've made it, somebody's passed you. So I think that process-driven mindset of it's never good enough and how can I be better, I think competitive people want that. I think competitive people always look at themselves to be better, and they always look at themselves that they're the problem. Like how I didn't coach this good enough for our guys to execute it. Yeah, could we have executed it better? Yes, but why didn't we execute it better? That's a problem that a coach can always take on and figure out why aren't we executing something better.
When you have that mentality, do you think that players endorse that? Like, do they look in the mirror more? Are they more willing to be accountable when that's your reality?
I hope they do. I hope our players, the first thing we do when we meet about a game on Monday morning is I have a cut-up of smart, tough, the ball, the team. Smart plays we do, tough plays we have, taking care of the football, taking it away, and then effort plays. But before that cut-up, I show my mistakes. I pull up a cut-up of the things that I feel like I could have done better and that we could have done better as a staff to say, these are the things that we got to work on this week. Okay, and then I go, these are the things that correlate to winning. Smart, tough, the ball, the team. These are the things that we did in the game. And then I go through situations, why we go for things, why we didn't go for things, why we run sneaks, why we don't. Whatever those things are, I go through so everybody's on the same page for when we do some things that some people call a little bit crazy. They understand the why we're doing it, and everybody's full speed ahead.
Kevin had a question about why you went for something.
4th and 2 in the second quarter. You're down 14, your own side of the field. You didn't get it, but a lot of people might have thought the team would have backed down then, or maybe not responded the way they did. But they came out, held them to a field goal, and then you guys kind of took off from there. And is that all the little things you're talking about? You think that's why you can go for it there and not worry about the result?
I think our guys know we have a plan and we're not reactive from a situation of panic. That we go through so many situations in a game, and we go through every Friday. We go through situations. Our guys called me on Saturday watching a football game. They're all together saying, did you see them mess up that situation? They should have ran the ball on the first down to make the other team call a timeout. I think our players are so dialed in to situational football that when we go for it, they have belief that they know there's a reason behind this. And I think because of that, we have more belief. It's not always going to work. But our guys, when it doesn't work, our guys aren't in panic mode because they think it was the best decision to do it so we can go play football again.
Does that, when you are that aggressive, how does that shape the mentality or the way that a team is?
Yeah, I think you want your team, like I say, we're going to go out swinging. Sometimes we're going to swing and miss.
Yeah.
We're going to lose. And people are going to say, why'd you do that? Let me swing. Let us swing. We're going to go out swinging. We're not going to go out with our tail between our legs. We're going to go out swinging on offense, defense, on special teams, the fake punt versus Texas. If that doesn't work, everybody's asking, what are you doing? What a panic move. It does work. It prevents them from scoring and taking a 3-possession lead going into the first half. We're going to play the game as the aggressor because I want our guys to play the game as the aggressor. So we have to coach the game the way we want our guys to play it, and that is tough.
So how do you tailor that to some of the short yardage challenges that you've had this year compared to last year, and then also having Jesus Gomez as a kicking option, and just make sure that you're, dotting that in those decisions? Yeah,
well, I think, 2 weeks ago we showed it. Smart now is not always going for it, is taking guaranteed points when you have Jesus back there. Even last week I went for a few that maybe the year prior I would have gone for. And this week we kicked them. Yeah. Now, they didn't go in, but I'll still kick them 10 out of 10 times because I got that much confidence in Jesus because we have a different football team. So I think every situation is different. Every team is different. So you do have to tailor your aggressiveness to your team, but you have to have a plan. That's why I don't like using the books, because I don't ever want a book to tell our football team what we're going to do. Every decision we make is going to be based off me, and people can look at one person and say, was that a good decision or a bad decision? But I don't want to be able to point a finger to a book.
You mentioned your players, some of them called you and were pointing things out in other games. Is that common? Do you get guys calling you a lot? What's that dialogue like as far as your players?
Yeah, I get guys calling me all the time. I probably get a phone call or two a day from a player randomly about something, especially if we have an off day Saturday. I'll probably get 3 or 4 calls of guys watching games. Did you see that? Why didn't they do this? So I get it all the time. And I think, like I said, and I was talking to Coach Regal about this the other day, is our guys or Coach Gibbs, our guys are so dialed in, and we talk so much situational football. Some of our staff thinks it's too much information for them. We don't need to tell them it. And that's great. It may be too much information for some guys, why we do what we do, but I think the belief in the process is just as powerful as the actual action. And when you believe in what we're doing, even if it's dumb, you're probably going to do it better than if you don't believe what's happening. So I want all of our guys to know that when we do some things, right, there is a method behind the madness, and we're going to go all in with it, just like the sneak in the game. Like, we do some things that other people may think is unconventional, but there is a reason behind it.
Yeah. How much does that trickle into your ability to be successful in close games and late in the fourth quarter?
I think our guys are confident in close games because they're prepared for them. They're like, oh, all we have to do is blank, blank, and blank. We've watched 7 close games in the last, 6 months as a team in this exact scenario. We know exactly what we need to accomplish. Now, unfortunately, in 2 of our close games, we had a helmet come off, which we can't control, which completely changed the math. Mississippi State could change the 40-second math equation, which completely changes how you play the scenario. Then this last week, we got a holding on 3rd down, which saved them another 40 seconds. So it completely changed the math. So both the times we could have ended the ball with really under 30 seconds kicking the field goal, we've left them with over a minute based off of 2 things we kind of can't control, which is unfortunate because we focus on those situations so much.
You think all those little things, explaining to the players the whys and you do things and all that, even though some of the coaches say you don't have to explain it to them as much, might over time seep in and make the players a smarter team?
I do. I really believe that. I think our guys could go, a lot of them could go manage an in-game scenario at a very, very high level. They could manage a 2-minute drill with the opposing teams at the end of half, having 3 timeouts when you're on your own -20 versus having 1 timeout. I think they would know exactly what to call on play 1 or the type of call we want on play 1. They would know, do we care about getting out of bounds? Do we want to stay in bounds? I think our guys know what we're going to do in those scenarios before we call it, because we talk about it so much, which I think does give them the confidence to go execute in those big moments.
College football has changed so much in recent years. How do you stay on top of what are the best strategies for player additions, portal recruiting, making sure that everybody's being evaluated that you need to be aware of, managing a staff? Like how crazy is that, and how much goes into it?
Yeah, it constantly changes. So, now the portal's not going to open till January, they say, and there's going to be one only. Well, high school recruiting ends at, the first cycle ends the 2nd week of December. Well, then the portal opens in January, and there's no other portal, which means basically if your kids transfer after the high school recruiting date in the portal, you can only replace portal with portal. That completely changes the dynamic of having 2 different cycles. So I think there's so many different, it constantly changes. You have to be willing to adapt. I think that's the biggest thing nowadays is if you're not willing to change and adapt, like on a snap of a finger, right, you're going to get left behind. And I don't know if we're adapting right. Like, that's the one thing I will say is I don't think anybody knows if they're handling it the best way until 3-4 years down the road. Everybody is just trying to survive the now and have a plan for the future, knowing that plan is going to change based on how the rules change. So I think got to be willing to change.
The things that you learned while working for a Mike Norvell or working for Dan Lanning, like so many of those things don't even necessarily apply anymore.
And talent acquisition, 100%.
Yeah. So then how do you just build a plan based upon what your gut instinct is? And
build a plan. I think at the end of the day, regardless of all the rules, the game is about the guys on your team. And I will double down focusing on treating the guys in our team well, supporting the guys in our team. And then from there, it's how do we acquire good players that fit to our team. But the number one thing is taking care of the guys on our football team. The number two thing is getting those players, right? But it's in that order. Where other programs maybe believe talent acquisition is one, I think talent retention is one, acquisition is two. And I've always believed that. Even before the portal, I believe you treat your players well, they're going to play harder for you. You treat the people in your building well, right? They're going to work harder for you. So that model's always been the core of one of my beliefs of treating the people you're around well. And I think that still, works even in today's era.
You've had pretty good retention with the coaching staff too, but how much has the recruiting aspect of a coach's life changed in the last 10 years too?
It changes every year for the last 4. It's like, the portal. Then it's like, okay, then it's early signing day in December. Then every kid almost signs an early signing day. And what is late signing day? It's not really a thing really much anymore. And then it's okay, there's 2 portals. And then it's okay, well, you can transfer without ever entering the portal. Okay, like it's happened this year. So it's constantly changing. So you have to be able to keep tabs on such a broader type of kid now. You can't just recruit the best players. You have to recruit the best players. Then you have to recruit players that are undervalued, right? Then you have to recruit kids that are going to be bounce-back transfers. So you have to recruit such a broader, spectrum of kids. We're not going to sign this kid. We better build a relationship because this kid's probably going to transfer because a lot of the kids from a certain region that go to certain schools or certain regions usually transfer back. So we're not going to get them now, but we're recruiting them for 2 years. You would never recruit that kid in the past. Now you do. So you have to recruit so many more kids because you don't know when they're going to enter the portal.
Are traditional recruiting rankings no longer material? Because, as you said, you're trying to make the best economic decisions with the players that you bring in and the development of those people and the retention of them. Coaches are hardwired to think about moving up the ladder based upon recruiting rankings and how they do. Fans are conditioned to believe that recruiting rankings directly relate to how talented or how good a team will be. And yet it seems like those things are not. The paradigm has changed quite a lot.
Yeah, to say they don't matter is not true because you still have to get good players in.
Yeah.
I would say, if you're 13 points behind a team and you would be second, but now you're 9th, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I would say the margins don't matter as much as opposed to, all right, you're dead last. You're 50, 80 points behind a team.
Yeah.
Well, you've got to have 8 people off that team transfer before you're back to even, right? But if you're living in that range where you're within 1 or 2 players of the top, not a big deal because that's the transfer. That's we're going to keep our team, you may not. You have that kid leave and I have our kid stay. We just caught up in a heartbeat. So I would say when you're 1 or 2 players away from being 1 or 2 or 2 or 3, that's the same thing nowadays. But you still have to compete to win with the top dudes, but you can't chase those guys in order to become the momentum height of I want to be second or third recruiting. It's all about keeping those kids on your team. So I'd say it still matters, but you can't worry if you're 11th, but you're really, 18 points away, which is 1 good player or 2 good players from second. We're good. Now it's retention. Now it's a retention game.
Yeah, it was interesting. You said today in your press conference that you don't even send Dyron Reynolds on the road recruiting. That's something that wouldn't even have been a thing like a decade ago. But you have more people in an operation now, recruiting, making sure that you guys are evaluating guys, coaching, skill development. My feeling is that there's 5 aspects to a program, which are identifying who you should bring in, being able to recruit them to your program, being able to develop them, being able to scheme successfully, and being able to motivate. Am I missing a component, or would you say those are the things? And how do you make sure that you're checking every box?
I think everything you described is internal program building. I think the other thing I would say is getting a community involved. You have to have it.
6th pillar, yeah.
You have to have it. I think that's the last piece, but that doesn't have to do with football.
Yeah.
But you have to get people involved, excited, because without it, you can't do what you said before, which is get good players. No one wants to go to a crowd that's empty.
Yeah.
They want to go watch what we just played in this last weekend.
Yeah.
That gets good players.
Yeah.
So I think getting fans and people engaged and excited allows you to do those 5 pillars. But without the fans and without the engagement, I think you're going to lose on that talent that you mentioned, one of those pillars. So whether it's a 6th pillar or a piece of one of your 5, it's the same thing. But I do think those are the 5 most important things. And in today's day and age, it's certain positions you've got to be able to develop. And I think at defensive line, at wide receiver, they're mainly recruiting positions. I think we got to double down on the ability to really develop at those positions. And I think Dyron's doing a great job at the defensive line developing. And you look at Coach Ward, has coached for 2 years, and he's one kid. He's going to be probably a first-round draft pick at wide receiver. That's pretty good development.
Yeah. And we're still in a season where some schools have spent a lot more money, or their collectives have spent a lot more money on their rosters relative to other schools. Do you feel like that will equalize to some degree with the new rules, or do you think there will be workarounds?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't. I thought I knew, and then I didn't. And then I thought I didn't know, and then they told me I did, and then I thought I didn't know again. So I couldn't tell you the answer to that. We get what we get, and we're going to build the best roster with the resources we have here, and continue to do that in our own way, and try to take care of our guys at the highest level we can.
Kind of on that note of what you were just talking about, recruits wanting to come in and see the blackout environment that you had last weekend. Activate the Valley was your motto coming in here. Now it's all over billboards, it's on taxis, it's kind of plastered across everything here. And it seems like that kind of synergy, I guess, is bleeding over into other head coaches, and it's kind of just all throughout ASU athletics now. When you started that motto and when that was kind of your goal, Activate the Valley, where are you in terms of what you had hoped it would be and where you still want to get it as far as that energy?
Yeah, I think in terms of activating the Valley, I think people are excited. I think in some ways the Valley is activated. I think in other ways the Valley is not. So I think in showing up to games, selling out crowds, loving and being excited about ASU football, completely activated. In terms of businesses stepping up, we have some businesses that are stepping up. I mean, some that are right in front of us, right?
Yeah.
Right, there it is.
Jones Auto Center, Parker Jones, good for
exactly
at ASU.
And but I think there's a lot more meat on the bone there. There's a lot more people, a lot more local businesses that could double down right now on us, our players, our team, which is only going to allow us to stay at this level and build. So if we want to keep selling out crowds, if you want your bars to be crowded on Saturdays to watch ASU football, if you want people to keep buying your gear, we got to double down on our players, because that's the key to it all.
When for the last, your whole life, basically, that's been a challenge at ASU, did that make you hesitate at all to take this job, or how did you feel about it?
When there's a challenge, I kind of took it head on. I knew what is going to be the difference. If you come in here and do the same thing as everybody else, you can't expect a different result. Every coach here for the last 20 years has had the same cycle. They come in, they're not very good, and then they win 8, Then they win their 10 and they're really good like we were last year. Then they maybe have 1 year good year, and then they start the downward trajectory. Repeat, and now I'm here, right? How do you change that? And the only way to change it is that when you start to stumble, you don't fall to the ground. And the way you don't fall to the ground is keeping the fans and the people engaged. So when the stumble starts to happen, you can still recruit really good players because they go to an unbelievable environment and there's still that investment. I think without that investment from the fans, from the community, from the school, when you start to trip, you fall. So I think when I took this job, I said, okay, the football stuff's going to be the football stuff. I've been doing that my whole life. It's this other stuff that I got to double down on. So when we do have our down moments, right, and when that happens, people are still supportive, they're still backing, so we don't fall. We just go there, and then we can go right back up again. Yeah. We gotta sustain the dip that will inevitably happen.
Would you say it's been harder than you thought, easier than you thought, activating the Valley, this whole process?
I don't want to say easier than I thought, because we put in a lot of hours.
I believe that.
Did it happen faster because of last year? Yes. I will say it happened faster. I thought this was a 4-year, and it still is. It still is. Like at the end game, we're still in year 3 here. So I don't think it happened faster. I think we've gotten some external results that we wanted quicker, and in some ways we've outgrown our own university and own department in terms of how fast we need to sustain at the level we're at. It's like, whoa, we weren't ready to be here yet. We thought we were going to grow this thing. Like, now we got to sustain this. So I think we're catching up. So it's are we going faster? Yes. Are we where we need to be? Most definitely not.
Well, I think you said it's like a 3-4 year process, and without naming names, a lot of the coaches that were here before you had that 1 year. Maybe they had a couple of good years, but it petered off, and that's when the fans went away. So I think that's the building everything around it to keep that from the dip. It's exactly what we need to do, and it's going to take time, even with the early success, to really light all that out.
It is. I mean, at the end of the day, things come back to the mean.
Yeah.
Like, there's a mean at most programs. The goal is to raise the mean, not the highs and the lows.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody wants to create the good year, because in coaching, you create a good year, then you usually leave. That's usually how it works, right? The goal to sustain a program is to create the average to be higher. So the highs and the lows, you shouldn't have as big of dips. You should get to a point in a program where people can expect to be right around here. Whereas in history, we've been this. So hopefully, in year 4 or 5 of this thing, there's an expectation level where we're doing this and we're not doing this.
Is there a greater likelihood of that mean being higher in the Big 12 for ASU versus the Pac, where you had some of those blue blood kind of monster programs?
Maybe, but you have Texas Tech now.
Yeah.
I mean, for a long time, Utah wasn't the school they were in the Pac. BYU would have been an absolute phenomenal team in the Pac. So I think it's different. It's just a different league than the Pac, especially with the new day and age of college football. It may be harder, to be honest, in the new league because of the new day and age of college football. The competitive balance in our league, any team can be any team any week.
Yeah.
In the Pac, there were a lot of games where you were like, all right, you can you feel good about some things, especially if you're at home, and then you don't feel good if you're playing all the way up north, right?
Yeah.
But you had a really good beat on which games you were going to have a good chance to win and which teams are going to be challenging. In this league, every single week is just a bloodbath.
Yeah. You had mentioned at one point recently about how Clemson kind of became a blue blood in an era after not. And that's kind of, maybe every generation has a team like that or a couple of teams like that. Given what's happened at ASU and where you're trying to get to, like, how viable do you think that it is for that? And I know it depends on this happening.
I mean, that's my dream, right?
Yeah.
It's my dream for the program, is to become that type of program. We're nowhere near it. How viable? It's a dream. It's a goal. It's an aspiration. And that's not really a me decision. That is a city decision. That's a community decision. That's a donor decision. That's a presidential and athletic department decision. They decided to double down and go all in at a top 5 level. All of those schools did when they make that jump. It wasn't the coach. The coach was a byproduct.
Sure.
He was a piece of it, but that was just one of the small pieces in the decision to take that step. So I do want to compete for championships here. That's my goal as a coach. Any competitor wants to compete at the highest level. My goal is to win championships and do that, but that's a city, community, university, everybody decision to do that. And the investment in that is go look at those investments those other programs have taken to take that step.
Well, kind of on the note of getting more businesses involved, we're going to be back with your thoughts on this past weekend at TCU and a little bit about next week at Utah after a quick word from our sponsors over at Jones Auto Centers.
For over 60 years, the Glenn Jones name has been recognized for integrity and honesty.
From the Jones Auto Centers in Wickenburg.
Jones Ford Verde Valley.
Take a nice country drive out the Buckeyes.
When you're talking about Arizona's best, you're talking about the Jones Auto Group. It's quick, fast, strong.
I want to invite you to visit our new facility in Casa Grande and enjoy our country-style way of doing business. We're the Joneses.
For over 60 years, the Glenn Jones name has been recognized for integrity and honesty.
From the Jones Auto Centers in Wickenburg.
Jones Ford Verde Valley.
Take a nice country drive out the Buckeyes.
When you're talking about Arizona's best, you're talking about the Jones Auto Group. It's quick, fast, strong.
I want to invite you to visit our new facility in Casa Grande and enjoy our country-style way of doing business. We're the Joneses.
For over 60 years, the Glenn Jones name has been recognized for integrity and honesty.
From the Jones Auto Centers in Wickenburg.
Jones Ford Verde Valley.
Take a nice country drive out the Buckeyes.
When you're talking about Arizona's best, you're talking about the Jones Auto Group. It's quick, fast, strong.
I want to invite you to visit our new facility in Casa Grande and enjoy our country-style way of doing business. We're the Joneses.
Welcome back to Rack Scottsdale for the SunDevilSource Podcast presented by Jones Auto Centers. Gabby Chernoff, Chris Cartman, Kevin Stewart, and head coach of Arizona State football, Kenny Dillingham. We're going to get into your thoughts a little bit on TCU here. That first half, obviously probably not quite where you wanted it to be. How much of that comeback win was fueled by about the first 5 minutes of that second half, and how many adjustments, in-game adjustments, go into coming back in that fashion and winning a game like that?
Yeah, to be honest, I saw the things about it's the biggest comeback. I don't even know the full stat.
Against the ranked team.
I didn't even process that. It was like, oh man, we're not starting good. This isn't good. Let's go play better, guys. I'm usually my calmest when we're playing our worst, to be honest. And I'm my most energetic when we need to keep the standard high because I want our guys to know I'm not worried. But I want them to know the intensity has to stay when we're playing well. And I think our guys just stayed calm when they're like, oh, wow. So all we have to do is score, stop, and score, and we're down 3. It's really not that hard. So I think in those moments, you've got to just guys, there's 8 possessions left, and all we got to do is score, stop, and score, and we're down 3 points.
You say that to them?
It's just more known. It's not even talked about. It's just let's go execute. It's just a calming matter of there is no panic. So I think how big was the beginning of that second quarter, middle of the second quarter? It was crucial because our guys were like, okay, this isn't that bad. Now we're down 10. All right, let's get a stop. Done. Oh, we go score again. Nice. So I think it was more just our guys have a lot of confidence in themselves. So it's more just relax. We've been down 17 twice in really the first 18 minutes of a game. And we've taken the lead in both games.
How good is this defense right now? They just gave up almost 10 rushing yards or something in a game, under 300 net yards against a team that had put up huge numbers in the non-conference. You're not giving up big plays. Your run defense is good. Like, where is this defense at right now?
Yeah, I think they've gotten a lot better throughout the season. I think every game they've gotten better. I think they've done a great job taking away what our game plan is. Some defenses, they just go and they play. And they're just playing football. And there were times last week or 2 weeks ago where we were just playing football and it's 3rd and 22 and they're throwing a dig. What are you talking about? It's cover 2. Back up as the week up.
Yeah.
Like, understand the situations. This week, backed up, we picked the ball off in 2 minutes, and the same call. So I think our guys are playing smarter. They're not just playing the call, they're playing the down. They're playing the team within the call. It's not just man free, it's man free with a guy 2 yards inside the hash. Alert the over route this week. So I think our guys are taking the plan, combining it with the call, and then playing hard. And when you do that, that's when you take the next step. I've really seen that the last 2.5 weeks.
Offensively, how was this team early in the season compared to what you kind of expected? And then how have you guys continued to evolve and adjust since then?
Well, early we were trying to figure out, can we run the ball or are we just a throw team? Can we run the ball on base downs? Can we convert short yardage? What's our 3rd and medium plan? Are we running it? 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, or are we throwing quick game? And I think we've learned kind of who we are. Every single week we've gotten a little better. We're not perfect yet. We still have our flaws on some short yardage scenarios, on some low red zone scenarios, but we've gotten better at an area every week. First week, we couldn't have good first or second downs. We were bad at everything. Second week, early in the game, first or second downs. Second half, we were really good on first and second downs. Third week, really good on first and second downs. We had explosive plays. Fourth week, really good on first and second downs. Horrible in the red zone. Hadn't fixed that yet, but hadn't been down there very much because we had explosive plays. So it was our first time we've really done it. All right, we fixed that. Then we learned we aren't good at goal line because we haven't been in the goal line because we were in the red zone and we would go out. Now we're not good at goal line, so now we got to fix that. So I think we're just learning throughout the way. We're taking on the new challenge and then getting better week by week. So hopefully this next week we're better at short yards and goal line, and that would really be that progression of a team that gets better because we put up 500 yards of offense and we're like, man, we're in there like, we still suck. We put up 500 yards. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Like, we had one take turnover. We had time of possession. Plus, I couldn't even tell you how much.
You're first in the Big 12 in time of possession.
There you go. And we're still like frustrated at the offense. It's because we're not winning those small scenarios that equate to points. We're winning everything but points. The goal is to score, but there's way more to offense that create wins than just scoring.
Yeah.
We just got to do that last piece, which is the most important, but we got to finish that last piece.
I think everyone got a little spoiled last year with you guys in short yardage with Scatterboot. John Madden once said that like a great running back makes a good offense a lot better. And, this year the rushing totals are almost the same as they were last year. Like you're trending the same way, but yeah, it does feel like you're a little different in short yardage or inside the red zone.
Yeah, and it goes back to what were we weeks 1 through 4 last year, 1 through 5 last year. I'd love somebody to go look at that and see how good we were, because I remember when we got stoned on a Wildcat run with Scat, and everybody was like, why are they running that? When you don't have success, people want to point the finger at a scenario, right? And guess what? Throughout the year, what did we get way better at? Short yardage scenarios, and we fixed it. And I think, like I said, you got to continue to improve with your current personnel. And even though we have a lot of returners, most of our skill players are new. We had no clue who we were going to be from a skill perspective other than Sam, JT, and Sean. Most of these other guys hadn't played a lot of snaps or new. We're learning them. We're seeing how they mesh and trying to figure out what the best things to do in each scenario. So that takes time. The good thing is we're 4-1, as opposed to we could easily be 2-3. We could easily be 5-0, just like last year. Hopefully we have some games where it's we clearly lost or clearly won.
Yeah.
It's not this middle ground.
Special teams, you added a really talented kicker who's helped you win a couple games here, and then in other aspects, it's kind of still been a little bit of a struggle. How would you assess where you're at overall on special teams at this point?
Yeah, I mean, our kicking unit kickoff, obviously, there's a few games where our kickoffs were kind of scattered all over the place, and that your kicking unit, you're supposed to kick the ball by the hash, and we kick it in the middle of the field. I don't care who you put on kickoff. It's not going to be I don't care what the scheme is. The leverage of the ball is wrong. They're going to hit explosives. So I think this last week we had a really good job kicking the ball when we kicked it deep. We had a few squibs that were into the wind. You're never going to have a good kicking unit when there's wind, because half the game you're going to have horrible kicking unit. So I think our return game has been solid. We returned one to the house. We got called back, whatever. Our punt return game, we got to catch a little bit more, but we blocked well. Hasn't been bad. We blocked a punt. It's really, our coverage units, and we were over 40-something yards with Canyon Floyd back there. So I think those are going to be just fine. I'm not really concerned about those units. We moved the kickoff to the other hash this last week to fit the lefty kicker better, and that was a positive.
Canyon Floyd could be back after the bye.
I hope so, but I don't know. Muscles are hard to figure out.
Sure.
Kind of on the same note as you mentioned, things that grow and change and develop every week. Last weekend especially, you guys really diversified your receiving options. Malik McLean was getting in there a lot more. Cameron Harpole was about 2 or 3 yards away from his first touchdown of the season. And then you have Jaron Hamilton over there as well. He came out to support today. So just how do you think that development as far as your receiving options will continue into the coming future?
I think we're just using our guys better as a staff. I think early in the year, you don't know how your guys are going to respond in game. Practice is one thing. When the lights are on and the crowd is cheering and you're out there by yourself getting a signal, it's way different than when you're in a controlled environment at practice. We try to create game day. There's nothing like game day, right? It's like being a guy who does a non-air podcast, then you do an on-air podcast, a little bit different.
Yeah,
right? Like
different.
It's live. Yeah. We don't have to rerun that. You can't just do it again.
Yeah.
It's a different type of feel. So I think we're learning our team more. And when you learn your team more, you can let your players play to their strengths more. And when you let your players play to their strengths more, they're more comfortable, so they perform better. So I think it's all part of that. You got to be able to adapt as a staff and a team based off of what you're good at and bad at. And you got to be able to figure that out and not be scared to change because you practice something 40 times. You practice it 40 times and you still suck at it. You better change.
Last question. How much are you able to kind of hone in on some of these things with the bye week?
A lot. That's our number one focus. Tuesday and Wednesday is focusing on things that we need to improve on. And then Thursday, we're still watching Utah tape, obviously, to get ahead. But when we get out on the field, we're focusing on us. Then Thursday, we'll sneak ahead on Utah. And next Monday, we'll have a little more advanced on Utah. So we'll have 2 bonus days, but we're focused on us these next 2 days and getting better at the areas we got to get better at.
Well, Coach, we really thank you for your time coming on the podcast today. I think this is a great way to kick off kind of our live events that we're doing. Started off with a bang, so we really appreciate your time. Chris, if you want to throw anything else on that.
You talked about the importance of community, fans, the synergy, businesses. That's what we're trying to do with this. And thank you so much for being a part of it. It really means a lot. And we're going to keep pushing to have more of these. Graham Rossini is going to be coming on one of these in about a month, and we'll ask him what things that he's going to do to try to help further the goals that you have for ASU football.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
And a big thank you to the crowd that showed out today at RAC Scottsdale and to anybody who's watching at home as well. Kenny, we'll let you go, and then we'll be back with our Sly offensive, defensive, and special teams moves of the week presented by drinkonthesly.com. Hi everyone, welcome back inside Raffle. Very exciting ways to kick off our live podcast. Now with my offensive they were able to convert with the Jordan Tyson touchdown.
You wonder how a guy's that open in a situation like that, right? But bottom line is ASU hadn't run that play, I don't think. Jordan Tyson said they practiced on it all last year, this year, didn't run the play. And when they needed it, there it is, wide open for a touchdown. Illustrates the connection that Sam Levitt and Jordan Tyson have, of course. Their ability to find each other in clutch situations and deliver. Jordan Tyson, 7 receiving touchdowns now this season. He's on pace to smash the single season record of 14. And I said it on the post-game show, I think he's the best wide receiver that I've ever seen at ASU. And I think he's going to keep proving it.
I feel like we've heard that a couple times. Like Sam Levitt and Jordan Tyson will just make some insane play and then they get asked about it in like a post-game press conference or some sort of media scrum. And they're like, oh yeah, we've been doing that for like 2 years. We practiced that a bunch of times. Yeah. And it's like, nobody even bats an eye. They're just like, oh yeah, we've done that before.
Well, and it speaks to their ability in the most important situations to deliver. There's just something about them. You can't really put your finger on it, but you know that they have it. And in the clutch situations, it's like Sam Levitt said, heart monitor on him is not detecting any sort of, irregular beats. He's just delivering. And bottom line is, you almost kind of expect it from them at this point.
Well, the defense definitely delivered this past weekend. That was the highlight, the really strong point of ASU's game, that played just a very complete game. And to cap it all off at the very end of the game, it was Prince Dorba. He sacked Josh Hoover and somehow mid-sack managed to come up with the ball. And it was almost like you watch it on the TV angles of the TV camera angles, and you see him tackle it, and then you see him with the ball, and it's like,
how'd that happen?
How did that happen too? So we'll show you guys that one and then give our analysis on it.
Down he goes. Is the ball loose? Arizona State has it. It's Dorba. 32, Prince Dorba. That's grand larceny.
Coming into this game, Josh Hoover had not been sacked more than 3 times in any game as a TCU. And Prince Dorba got him 3 times by himself. ASU sacked Josh Hoover 6 times to move Josh Hoover to one of the most sacked quarterbacks now this season in the Big 12. And the Sun Devils are 6 more sacks than the next closest team in the Big 12, 19-13. He won Big 12 Player of the Week defensively, obviously. 4 tackles for loss to go with the 3 sacks. And he is a microcosm of what ASU's defensive line has been able to do to elevate. After last season, that was a weakness for the team. They were near the bottom of the FBS in these categories. And bottom line is, Dyron Reynolds, skill development. Dillingham said he's not sending him on the road recruiting. What is he doing? He's in the lab working with these guys, getting bigger, stronger, faster, being more coordinated with their pass rushes. And they put it together in this performance where if not for that, they probably would not have won this game. And so ASU's defensive line ended up winning Defensive Line of the Week in the Big 12, with Prince Dorba's performance being extremely emblematic of that.
and the call on that play, the announcer said grand larceny. I feel like that's the perfect way to describe it. Just took the ball right out of his hands, sacked him in the process. But we have our Sly special teams move of the week. Jesus Gomez kicks a game-winning field goal for the second week in a row, wins Big 12 special teams player of the week for a second week in a row. We'll take a look at that.
That's a chip shot for him. He's going to make that 99% of the time. The only thing that injected a little bit more of anxiety into ASU's fans was the fact that he had missed 2 earlier. And Jesus Gomez had only missed 1 field goal in ASU's first 4 games, 9 out of 10. The only miss was from 57 yards. So you're not expecting him to miss a couple of earlier kicks in the evening. He pushed one, pulled the other. But when ASU needed him, he delivered pretty convincingly. And I think he's a weapon. Like, I don't think he's going to miss a lot of kicks when it matters. Dillingham talked about the value of having a kicker like that where you have just supreme confidence in his ability to go out and make kicks. He's a perfectionist. And in a Big 12 where there's going to be a lot of one-score games, having a player like that is a huge advantage compared to what ASU's field goal kicking situation was last season.
And there's just so much confidence with Jesus Gomez, both an internal confidence with him and Kenny Dillingham. They both said in the past, just kick it. We don't even have to watch it go through. Like, that's how much confidence they have in Jesus Gomez and what he's able to do for this team, and obviously much improved kicking game from last year. I don't think there will be any open kicking tryouts this year for ASU.
None of that.
But with that wraps up all of our content for this episode of the SunDevilSource podcast. Because we have a bunch of people here, we have a lot of fans and subscribers who have come out to support.
What's that? We're live. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, just give us a minute. It's okay, Rhonda. But we're going to have a raffle.
We have a raffle.
So
we have, let me see, I have my list here. I have 13 prizes. So 6 Sly variety packs, 4-pack of a bunch of different Sly flavors for you to try. Looks like 5 Sly beanies, 1 Sly gaming controller keychain, and then the prize possession of this raffle is the Christopher Roche, our Camp Pontezona water tower piece, autographed by Kenny Dillingham. If you've seen any of our remote episodes, Chris has had it in his background for a little bit.
Yeah, so we're going to go in order. We're going to leave Christopher Roche's signed Kenny Dillingham for the end. So we got Daniel Gonzalez is going to win variety pack of Sly. Congrats, Daniel. We got another variety pack of Sly, won by Jack. Can you read it? Jack, somebody?
Jack Jensen.
Jack Jensen? Is good. Jack Jensen's got a Sly pack. We got another Sly pack. That's going to somebody.
D. Hisatomi?
Maybe. Okay, that's another one. And then we got another. That one's nobody. We got a Sly one here. Carly Meza. Carly's going to get a Sly pack. So that's 4, right? We got 2 more Sly variety packs. We got one for Jason Blakely. Jason, you got a Sly variety pack. And we got one more Sly variety pack going to Curtis. Okay, Curtis, we'll get you on that one.
That's Curtis.
And now we're going with Sly.
We have 5 Sly beanies.
Sly beanie. And that's going to Sarah Hannah, I think. Sarah Hannah,
it looks like, yeah.
Sarah Hannah, you got a Sly beanie. And we got Matt. Not sure but we got Matt. Matt's getting a Sly beanie. Matt, we don't know which. We got to get the number. And then we got Henry. Slybini. And then we got JJ Jensen.
I think that's 5. Is that 4?
Do we have one more beanie?
One more beanie.
Last beanie is Bob. I don't know. And now we have a Sly gaming controller keychain. And that's going to Tatum Meza. You got a Sly gaming console. Okay, now the big prize.
Big grand prize. Give him a mix.
Big grand prize. Oh, this is just a phone number. So we got ticket 2449238 is going to win this prize. So we're going to have to text the person who it is. We got a phone number. But whoever that is, they're
6 ounce. That's what it says. Oh, 602. That looks like a Z.
It's 6 ounce.
No, it's in parentheses. It's this 6 and then it looks like a Z.
602.
I'm not from Arizona. I'm still, the area code isn't engraved in my head.
Let them know they won the limited edition Camp T autographed by Kenny Dillingham by Christopher Roach.
All right.
So that's it.
That just about does it. We want to thank everybody who came out and supported, everybody who came out and watched today, and then, of course, anybody watching from home as well. In lieu of our Thursday deep preview podcast that we normally do, looking ahead to ASU football's next opponent, ASU hockey is opening its season this Friday and Saturday. It'll be a top 15 matchup, ASU number 14, and then the Penn State Nittany Lions, number 5, have the consensus number 1 overall pick for this upcoming draft in 2026 on that Penn State team. And because of that, it's rumored that NHL Network will be picking up the game. So that would be, if that's true, very good exposure for Greg Powers and the Sun Devil hockey program. We're looking forward to bringing you that this Thursday instead of that football preview podcast that we normally do. We'll be back right here next Monday, and we hope to see a lot of you then, whether it be on our live stream or now that you know that we're in person, feel free to come out, hang out with us during the live podcast. But until Thursday and Monday, Gabby Turnoff and Chris Cartman and Kevin Stewart, and we had Kenny Dillingham, of course, as well, for SunDevilSource. We'll see you next week.